10, CEO report, Michael.
Okay. Have a few things. Rotary Marks Foundation, there is a golf tournament May 10th. So if you're interested in sponsoring, playing, want to put a team together, they're looking at that. Trying to think of anything else from the Rotary Marks. Community needs assessment or needs, I will say we will be, I'm in the process of scheduling another community needs assessment. If you recall, we did one several years ago. As a PPS hospital, we're not required to do one of those, but the anticipation is we're still hanging in there that we're going to be critical access. As a critical access hospital, you have to have one, I believe, every two or 3 years. It's part of the requirements, you have to have one. So I figured it would just behoove us to go ahead and get one done and have it available. So if we do the inspection, we'll have that readily available. Roger already introduced Joe and Casey. Position recruitment. We met with a recruiter. As y'all might be aware, Dr. Irk has also given his 1 year notice, so he will be retiring in about a year. And so we started the process of recruiting for surgery. We met with a recruiting company for a good while on Friday, showed him around here at Pecan, and we did already get an applicant yesterday. We'll be working on scheduling a call there. Evidently, wasn't aware, but recruiting surgery is much easier than recruiting family practice. Surgeons are fairly abundant, and there's not as big of a supply-demand problem in the surgery field as there is in the family practice. So we'll continue with that process. We'll be contacting you if we get somebody for an on-site visit, and look at scheduling a dinner as we usually do for those. But that process is moving along. We have not signed with them yet on family practice, and the reason being is we are actively in communications. Y'all remember Dr. Bocanegra, who was here about 1.5 years ago?
Yes. Ohio.
Julie contacted him, and we are back communicating with Dr. Bocanegra again, waiting probably maybe to hear an answer this week. He was off this week, and he was gonna.
Wasn't there a family issue involved just recently? Probably
Illness.
Okay.
Yeah, they're evidently have both sets of in-laws or both sets of parents are living with them currently. So that's one of the things that have to kind of factor in. But he did seem rather eager to get back or get to Texas and be able to. So he was going to spend this week off negotiating with his wife and hopefully have an answer at the end of the week. So depending on that answer, we will look at getting a recruiter for family practice again in Pecan, depending on how. We just didn't want to pay the recruiting fee if we don't have to.
Sure. Surgery applicants, will they be required to use the robot?
Yes, anybody that comes in, one of the things we will actually, that's in the application or in the advertisement for the first surgery position too, is the occasional or part-time call. Not that we're going to implement that right away, but just the anticipation that in a year or 2 or 3 down the road, if we start getting busier and start going to a call, I don't think we're to the point of 24 hours a day call, but Friday or Saturday, Sunday availability for stuff in the ER to be able to have the surgery crew available. In addition to Dr. Pepper, if things come in on the weekend fractures, that we might have a crew available. So I can see us growing into that. So we just wanted to, from an upfront expectation that there might not be that much in the beginning, but it could grow into that. So that's kind of where we are on that. MRI, the drawings have been done. Right now we're in the permitting process, I guess, waiting as soon as permits are clear, construction will begin. So we're just
With the city?
Yeah, I believe, so that's kind of where we are with that, so.
Speaking of that area, did you have a flood out there, or what happened?
Something with the fire, something people hear, but today,
Or were they, I heard some noises a while ago, they might be flushing
that's it.
the fire sprinkler system, so. I wasn't aware we had water. I did hear water running a while ago, and I was kind of eerily walking around up here. I didn't see anything flowing anywhere, so we're in pretty good shape. Urology, we're still on track there. Dr. Hyder will begin seeing patients in April. We put the ad out, you've probably seen on Facebook. We got a few calls and a few appointments made just off the Facebook ad of patients that saw it. So that will continue to move forward. EMS, I don't really have any updates. I mean, most of you are kind of aware of where we are now. I will work on scheduling, I think at this point, maybe scheduling another meeting with the county of the subcommittee board that's in place and just kind of keep that conversation going on. You know, we are in the process of probably mid-summer, we will be submitting our trauma application. You've got to have 6 to 8 months of data before you submit to provide to them. And then once we put in that application, they will actually come on site and do an on-site survey. I hope that our transport times won't be an issue there. I mean, we can explain them and show what we're doing, so I think maybe we can get past that. But that was one of the concerns I expressed to the county, is that they're not doing emergency transfers, or kind of hindering us there.
What was the outcome of the eloquent letter that you had written that you shared with all of them? Anything?
I did receive communication back from the judge, kind of showing the salary structure that they use, which is crazy ridiculous. Their benefits costs were like 65–70% of their salaries, which is unheard of. We run about 20–25%. I know Hamilton EMS runs 19%, so I'm not real sure what's up there. But it came out to about $120,000 per paramedic is what they're paying. If what they're showing us is true, it's about, they've got a salary of $56,000, but they're paying about $110,000 and other, you know, in benefits and all the other stuff that they provide. I'm not real sure.
They say they can't keep people, can't recruit.
With the benefit package they have, it's,
I mean,
what
there's
they're
no
showing.
auto.
There's multiple reasons why they can't keep people, but also when you're talking about somebody who's young, those benefits aren't as meaningful as somebody who's 45. Right? And so they look at their salary at 52.
They look at what they get on the check.
Yeah, they can go to Fort Worth and make a significant larger number. And if some of them aren't taking those benefits anyway because they're on somebody else's benefit, right? I mean, it's messy.
Something else we noticed too, when you looked at their salaries, they get guaranteed overtime every pay period the way they do their scheduling. So I don't know how they're
It's
doing.
yeah, they run a 48.96, and which results in a fair amount of overtime. If you went to 24.48, that might change that a little bit, but it's
And it's
not.
budgeted that way.
Yeah, that's,
Just see their next, meeting agenda.
so,
Have you got all your answers for the FOIA request?
yeah, I mean, I pretty much was provided, the meetings thing. I never received anything back on it, but, we are where we are right now, but I do think another subcommittee meeting and to continue that conversation moving forward would benefit us. Hospital week, just kind of give you all a heads up, hospital week's gonna be May 12th.
12th or 18th, whatever that is.
And I don't know if, in the past, sometimes the board has cooked hamburgers on one of those days, or, y'all, if y'all are interested in participating in any way, I just kind of wanted to
Okay,
kind of.
action hour in.
All right, kind of get that out there. The other piece, probably next month's meeting, I don't think we'll have to call a meeting for this. I think it'll fall about right for the April meeting. But our SECO application has been submitted and accepted, and where we're at right now with that is the state has a third-party engineering firm that looks at the data and confirms everything is what it is. So we're going through that process right now. We're not expecting any hiccups there. But again, it's a SECO loan. It's a 2.5% loan for the replacement of all the heating, the AC units, chillers, boilers infrastructure, lights, LED lighting all the way through the building. And part of that, it's a 15-year loan. It'll be in the neighborhood of 3.5 to 4 million. It'll be the total cost. But they've got to prove in that 15-year period that we save enough on electricity and repair costs to justify that. Last year we spent a little over $120,000 on AC repair alone. So to get the cost of what that monthly fee is going to be for the infrastructure of everything else, and then the next step will be addressing the generator in that. And there's still some programs. You know, we looked at the company that came in and visited with us. The more we've looked into it, we actually might be better off doing that program ourselves instead of, again, anytime you bring a third party in, they're getting a piece of that somehow. So we might be better off financing the generators and then participating in the program ourselves and getting the money directly back to us instead of going to the third party and getting split. So I think once we know what this number is, then we'll begin looking at the generator piece.
Can that fall under this loan?
No, it doesn't qualify underneath this loan, but there might be some other loans they can work with. We're working with E3 and they do a lot of the different, they do generator programs too. So once we get into that, there might be a program that we can get some sort of money or low interest loan for the generators. So as soon as I have that and those numbers available, there could be some that we've got to pay out of pocket or that doesn't qualify. It depends on where that number falls as to how much. So there could be, you know, like 100 or 200,000 that we have to pay that doesn't qualify under the 2.5% to get the total project done. But I'll have those numbers whenever we get them. We'll provide them to the board and sit and kind of hash through what our decision making might be.
Out of curiosity, Michael, what's wrong with the generator? I know it's old, but it still functions correctly, right?
Correct.
So,
The generator, the benefit would be, there's two things. If we look at changing the generators out, we would change out the current generator, replace it with a new generator. One of the things we would do with that is put a saddle tank on it. Right now we have an underground diesel storage tank, and the insurance on that is a nightmare every year trying to get it insured. Again, we gotta have them come and test the fuel and make sure we don't have water leaking in, we're not leaking fuel out. So that would alleviate a lot of getting rid of that underground storage tank, would help with some of that issue. But what we would also look at doing is, right now the emergency power is just a lot of backup stuff. It doesn't power our major infrastructure. ACs and all. Yeah, so if we go out for an extended period of time in the summer, we're still gonna shut down because it's gonna be 90 degrees in the building and we can't. So the plan we would look at moving forward would be an emergency diesel generator that would kick on instantaneously. And then it takes a little bit longer, but a larger natural gas generator that would kick in after that, that would be enough to handle the entire facility. Both AC, actually every plug in the building would work, everything in the building would work. And with that, we could actually, during the summer and winter, when they go into kind of brownouts and things like that, we can actually kick the natural gas generator on and sell electricity back onto the grid and make money by powering the grid. There's programs in place now that will allow you to sell, and you're selling at peak. I mean, that's peak time, peak reimbursement for energy to push back onto the grid. So that would be the kind of that piece. I mean, I think right now the boilers and the ACs are probably a little more priority. The generator's older, but it's functioning. I mean, they still test it on a regular monthly, and then quarterly. You got to do a full power test or a full run. So no major problems there, but eventually we probably need to address that as well. Where the chillers and most of the AC units are 30, 35 years old, original to the building, so it's getting harder to find parts and pieces for those things. Plus our maintenance cost is, like I said, I think last year I saw we spent $120,000 to the company for AC repair, which is a lot. Critical access, I really don't have any update there. We're still anxiously waiting. So as soon as I hear something, y'all will probably hear as well. So we will see where that goes. Kind of an update on the bistro and the nurses station. I'm waiting for the architects are actually putting that out for, not for bid, but they're putting it out for estimate, if that makes sense. So that way we'll at least have cost estimates to budget off of on each one of those projects to kind of know what it would look like going forward. Signage, you might notice, if not when you leave here, look across the street, we have a new sign up at Therapy. They got that up last week. Looks much nicer than what was there. Let's see, Torch, myself, Kat, and Julie will be at the Torch Conference Monday through Thursday of next week. That's in Arlington. It's a really good, so Torch is Texas Organization for Rural Health. It's the Rural Health Conference. It should be an interesting time. President George Bush is going to be the kickoff keynote speaker, so it'll be interesting to see. Let's see.
Did you skip the wellness center update? Or did I actually?
I haven't made it there yet.
Okay.
The wellness center, there's still a couple of things going on there. Nothing major to report at this time. I think we're looking at kind of a plan A and original plan A, and then a plan B is in the works as well. And I think we're just kind of waiting to see which direction that goes. So as soon as there's a decision made that way, we will let you know. I guess the last thing I have is the solar eclipse. If any of you are available or would like to come hang out with us for the day, you're more than welcome to. One of the big things we're going to need help with probably is barricades and parking. We are going to barricade off the parking lots and put people out. I talked to Joe, he seems to think he's in pretty good shape, but so that we have parking available for our patients and it's not taken up by people. Some of the major issues that they're talking about, we had a meeting, there was a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and there's a meeting right before. I think the estimation right now in Somervell County is about 42,000 people will be in the county the day of. They'll actually probably start getting here Friday before, so your infrastructure, I mean, the big thing is make sure you got a full tank of gas. Kind of prepare as you would for snowmageddon that we had. Make sure you got your groceries, make sure you've got gas, because a lot of those things are going to be probably hard to come by. Phone service is probably going to be sketchy. The towers aren't made to handle the volume that's going to be in the community. And then just the day of and the afternoon of, the traffic is going to be horrendous. We're preparing for burnt eyeballs, and that's going to be a common, people not using the proper things as they're looking at it. I don't know if you've ever burnt your eyeballs, because it is excruciatingly painful. So we have kind of staffed accordingly. We've opened up some time for our staff to be able to go see. We are going to provide food that day. We'll cook and we're doing tacos and pulled pork and chicken tacos and all the fixings for that. So that way, because all the restaurants and everything in the town are going to be completely slammed. So
May or may not be able to even travel on the highways.
They're having school. One of I guess the 2017 eclipse that was in the west. Some of the stories and the takeaways from that. Some of the school buses took about 4.5 to 5 hours to get home that day. So just because of traffic, and I think once we get off 67, that anything on the main thoroughfares are going to be, especially the square, is going to be a nightmare coming across the bridge there. If you're coming in from that side of town. Might as well forget it. But
Well, in 67, as it runs west from us, kind of follows the path of the eclipse. It's probably the best through highway
to get,
on the path.
yeah.
So it's going to be
67 to 35 with the people coming,
Yeah.
both of those are going to be
ugly.
So, just, hearing a lot of, people, Metroplex-wise, or businesses are encouraging to take it like a snow day. Encourage if people can work from home or stay home and not be out on the roads to do so. But
I met a doctor 5 years ago, and he already had his plans to be in Texas this April. Because he's a dedicated eclipse Yeah, I'm like, oh, really? I live in Texas. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna be there April of 24. Really? That's weird. Okay.
And not just the United States, you have people coming from
Yes.
all over the world
Yes.
that will be coming in. As I understand, every Airbnb, every hotel room, anything that's available is filled up with
Yeah,
Airbnb.
previous weekends.
And even though it's gonna run up to the northeast, we're where everyone wants to be because we're more likely to have clear skies.
It's like 3
When you
minutes.
get up to the northeast, you're more likely to have a cloudy day
Yeah.
in April.
Is there any reason why we're getting a slow response on critical access? That they've been asking?
CMS.
It's federal government.
They operate at their own speed.
Yep. I called in question, and her answer to me is that we have received your application, and you will be notified when you're notified. So,
Probably the IRS doesn't work that way.
Tell me about it.
other than that, I guess that concludes my report.
So you wanted us to come down and report to you?
If you're available and
Parking
can
lot bulldogs?
come help out in the parking lot, or, you know, we will be feeding and having food and stuff available too, so, but
Cool.